Hello and welcome back to Dukascopy TV. I'm Ben Jones. The 2014 Winter Olympics in Russia are just around the corner, and this event hasn't failed to gather its fair share of attention already. It's going to be the most expensive Olympics by a long way, but what effect will it have on the Russian economy? Joining me on the line to discuss this is Vladimir Tikhomirov from Otkritie. Now, Vladimir, if we can begin by talking about the Russian ruble. It's recently hit a 5-year low, but many are expecting it to rebound and get a boost from the Olympics. Why has the currency struggled recently, and in what ways and to what extent can this event change its situation?
Well, the sell-off that we've seen in the ruble basically is driven by two major factors. One is global. We have seen a major sell-off in many emerging markets and emerging market currencies. A lot of them have came under pressure over the past few weeks, and ruble is no different here. So, sort of, ruble's performance is part of a global pressures that are increasing on emerging markets when investors see emerging markets underperforming versus developed economies, and the portfolios are being changed with the share of developed markets being increased. So that's one big reason. Another reason is that this trend has coincided with some significant changes in the way the Central Bank of Russia is pursuing its currency policy. The Central Bank of Russia in September last year announced that it will move towards a free float of the ruble by the end of this year, year 14. And late last year and early this year, the central bank has made few steps aimed at lowering the level of its participation on the FX market. What we're likely to see as the result of Olympics is obviously a significant rise in the numbers of tourists coming to Russia and basically changing foreign currency to spend here domestically. So there will be some rise in demand for rubles, from foreigners, from companies that participate in Olympics, etc. But again, on balance, I don't think that this demand would be enough to significantly, say, reverse the situation. It can help to stabilize the ruble. Perhaps we might see ruble stabilizing even without the Olympics, perhaps even before the Olympics start. But then, it's hard to project what the actual demand for rubles or the amount of FX sales that Olympics can generate on the domestic market. But Russian currency market is fairly developed. We normally see volumes of around $20+ billion a day in total turnover of the market. So with Olympics, we might see, few $1 billion of additional demand for rubles. But again, as I said, that might not be enough to significantly change the ruble trend.
Now, the final cost for the Games is set to be around $51 billion, making it the most expensive ever, easily topping the $40 billion China spent in 2008. But what effects can an event like this have on the economy? Will there really be that big of an impact to justify all that spending?
Well, part of this, the effect of this huge spending we have already seen because it was supporting Russia's growth rates over the past 5 years when Russia was preparing for the Olympics. But when we look at the figure obviously is quite huge. But what needs to be taken in mind is that the area where Olympics is taking place was simply not developed 5-6 years ago when Russia started building the resorts, started building communications, started building infrastructure for the Olympics. So a significant part of the investment that went towards the Olympics was not towards Olympics per se, but it was towards development of the whole area of Sochi, which is southern part of Russia on the coast of the Black Sea. That relates to hotel infrastructure, road infrastructure, electricity, gas supplies, etc., etc. And this infrastructure is going to stay, including the resorts and the hotels. So hopefully, over some time, that could allow this area to become one of major resorts and holiday recreational areas in Russia, creating additional flow of revenues both for the local budget in the area, but also for Russian economy at large. Because this infrastructure is not going to go when Olympics end, it's going to stay, and the whole purpose of this development from the Russian government perspective was actually to create an alternative for a Russian population, particularly, if you look over the past, decade or so, a lot of Russians were going to ski resorts abroad, be it Turkey, Egypt, or some other countries. Now they would have an alternative, going, at home and going to the ski resort in the Sochi area. So I believe that there will be some effect, but it will be spread over a few years. It will be gradual, but it will be positive.
Thank you very much for talking to us today. That's all we've got time for, I'm afraid, but click back throughout the week for even more exclusive interviews. Goodbye.